Things just took a very interesting turn for the Toronto Maple Leafs as we have a brand new report as it pertains to one particular player that not only is very intriguing but has huge implications going forward. We're going to dive into that as well as multiple Leafs updates as a lot of the brand new Leafs have spoken out, including some comments surrounding one defenseman that has fans pretty encouraged. Time to go over today, folks. Before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage or aren't subscribed to the channel, we are inching closer and closer to the regular season. If you want a place to be for daily Leafs content, multiple videos a day, this is the place to be. 71% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. You guys have been fantastic. Darius, obviously, games are approaching here soon. Of course, we'll having post-game live streams for each and every single game like we did last year. But we want to dive into some new reports that have dropped here. We had a video a week or two ago now, it feels like forever ago, a few weeks ago, surrounding Anthony Stolarz and how reports came out that the Leafs are in conversations with Stolarz regarding an extension. And a brand new report has come out revealing some interesting things. You can see this right here. The Maple Leafs and goalie Anthony Stolarz have not made progress as of today, September 12th, 2025, which of course a couple days ago, on a contract extension. There's no concern from either side as discussions are still ongoing. And since September 12th, we've heard some new things as well, over the past few days, basically confirming the fact, and we waited a little bit to make the video because of this, basically confirming the fact that at this point, no progress has been made. So Darius, this is interesting because the initial report dropped that they have been talking. Stolarz came out himself on an interview and said they have been talking. And the biggest thing for Stolarz in the interview was that he wants a fair price. That's basically his number one priority. A little bit interesting though, I would say, regarding, a change of, not a change of scenery necessarily, but a change of the way that things have gone here from progress to now no progress weeks later.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about this personally. I think that they're going to ultimately get something done, or the Leafs are going to have a plan to move off of Anthony Stolarz, if he does walk in free agency next year. So, again, I'm not too worried. Of course, I want to keep Anthony Stolarz on the team. He was fantastic last year, but I think they're going to figure it out in season, maybe towards the end of the season at this point, and maybe even right before the season starts, or right as the season is starting. I'm not too worried about it. Stolarz is not the type that is going to leave after they offered him the largest contract in history. It's not that type of situation that we're seeing with Kaprizov right now. He just wants to be paid fairly. And I do think he wants to stay a Maple Leaf. The reason he came here is because there was a starting job up for grabs. He wants to play ultimately, and he wants to be that guy for a team. And he has the chance to do that still for a couple of years with the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? You're looking at Hildebrand, Akhtiamov. They're a couple of years away still. That's just the fact of the matter, right? So I'm not necessarily worried. He's going to get paid. Let's not think he's going to make a little bit more than what he's making right now, right? Like a lot of people are saying, oh, he's a career backup, all of these things. Well, no, last year he was a starter. He hasn't played that much, right? Let's not, be blind to that fact or anything like that, right? Very small sample size again last year, but he was really good in those games. And I feel like he's going to take a step, barring any injuries again this year, where he's going to play even more games. And so, that being said, I think that he's going to get paid. He's a really good goaltender. And I don't think he's going to get like 8 or 9 million or anything like that, but he's going to get paid significantly more than what he is now. The salary cap's going up, so it should be fine. But ultimately, I'm not worried about it right now. And let's focus on this season too. They have him locked up for this year, and they have some help on the way anyway. But ultimately, I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, and obviously we know there's been a lot of the goaltending situation for the Leafs has been interesting. Now they got a fantastic deal with Anthony Stolarz. You mentioned he's going to get paid a lot more. The good news is though, they have him this upcoming year, so next season, at a very fair price, and he either is going to continue his play and get a contract that you can even now confirm more so that it wasn't a fluke last year that he can't be a starter. He'll either confirm that or make the conversation very interesting. And Darren Dreger has come out with a report, and that's the report here, saying that it's not seen as imminent, but there also isn't anything expected to get in the way of getting a deal done. So it seems that a deal will get done here eventually. I'm very intrigued and curious to see when that deal will actually, get done pen to paper, because the season now is a month away or so, right? For all intents and purposes, let's just say it's a month away, 30 days. That's pretty soon. Training camp's going to happen. We know that Stolarz and Joseph Woll have gotten in work together. Like, this is something that could linger a little bit. The good news is this isn't going to be a distraction for this team. We know last year there's been tons of distractions with, Mitch Marner, but also Nick Robertson in training camp and things like that when he requested a trade. This year, there's none of that. There's still the Nick Robertson question, but there's no real big question marks going forward. So that's obviously a good thing, but not imminent. But at least the good news is it'll probably get done here in the next, I would assume the next month. And if not, then at some point throughout the regular season. But it might be smart for the Leafs to wait and see how he actually performs here. Because like you mentioned, he has been great as a starter, but he hasn't really put too much workload on his body in that regard.
No, you bring up a great point. I think, with what Drager's saying here too, why not wait a little bit if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs? If nothing's going to get in the way besides the dollar amount, which it sounds like it's that right now, that he wants to be paid fairly heading into next year, or however long the contract ends up being, why not wait a little bit if you're the Leafs? What if you start the season, all of a sudden it looks like it's going to be Joseph Woll's season, right? So I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think Stolarz has been working very hard and he wants to be that guy. And we've seen all the videos throughout the summer. I think he's going to come in and have another great season, but why not wait a little bit, see if things do go south, or, if that does happen, then you can come to probably a better agreement for the Leafs as the team. I don't see that happening. And I do think that they ultimately should have got it done this, summer, but we'll see what ends up happening. I think ultimately they'll sign him, but I think we're in store for another really good year from Stolarz, and that he's going to make another jump in terms of games played as well.
Yeah, let us know down below your thoughts on that. Do you want to see him extended? Do you think they should test out, see how Joseph Woll is? He's entering year one of a 3-year deal, so it's not like they're strapped for goalies, but I do think internally the Leafs have a bit more faith in Anthony Stolarz being a playoff, I guess 1A as opposed to Joseph Woll. We saw that last year. He did exactly what he had to do. Now, let's touch on some of the new Leafs. You can see this here. Mo's been buzzing. Now, we'll probably have a full video covering, Morgan Rielly, both in a positive light and a negative light. He is one of the guys to look out for. And Nicholas Waugh, new Leaf, he said, if anyone asked him basically if anyone stood out to him past couple weeks, past couple skates, he said Morgan Rielly's been buzzing in those skates. I wasn't there before. I've seen him, played against him, and he's been really good. So it's going to be interesting now. Year 2 of Craig Berube. Obviously, he hyped up the crowd as well. Morgan Rielly's name continues to come up. If he has a breakout year, and not breakout in the sense of, he's had really good years, of course, after he got extended 70-point season. If he has a bounce back year here, that's another thing that opens up this team beyond some of the new additions they made in replacement and lapse of Mitch Marner.
Yeah, and I think, hearing this from Waugh, a new guy saying that, hey, it looks great, and now we're heading into the season, I think is very encouraging. And, we covered in a video last week that Craig Berube came out and said that, it looks like Morgan Rielly is going to be in really, really good shape this year. Like he took this offseason seriously. He took what happened last year to heart. So he's coming in, he wants to make good on what's happened the last couple of years, I think, at this point, especially last year. He just wasn't good last year. Whether it's his conditioning, mentally, whatever it was, he just wasn't good in all aspects of the game. And yes, he still put up decent points, but he can do better than that. Will he ever be the guy that scored 70 points ever again? I'm not sure, right? But he needs to be better in all areas of the ice and be that guy for the team and be physical. He was better in the playoffs, I think, at least, offensively, that's for sure. And he always brings it or tries to bring it in the playoffs. He's one of those guys. I'll never fault him for that. I love that he, tries to lay it on the line in the playoffs. But by all accounts, from now, new teammates, from the coach, he's poised to have a really good season as well. So that's going to be really exciting, because if Mo's on, the team's just going to be better for it, because obviously he makes a lot of money. We discussed it in a video this past weekend, and he's got to be really good for this team.
Yeah, let's know what your thoughts are on that, and it's going to be interesting. Future of a lot of players unknown. Treliving at this moment, I'm sure, is working the phones, but it's good to see new Leaf Nicholas Waugh giving some praise to Morgan Rielly. Folks, that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are, and let us know, do you want to see Stolarz extended?